No, because Haley is shoving Hamlin back to the lead on the inside lane.
Four-pack up in the front of the field. Hamlin inside, Harvick outside, right behind them, Haley and Truex. And now the rest of the pack closes back in as we go 2 by 2 all the way through the field. Door to door for the lead with Haley on the inside.
Denny Hamlin downstairs. Kevin Harvick, and it's out.
Up high, Harvick to the point, off turn number 2.
In fact, Harvick is going to get out in front of Truex by about a couple of feet, but that will change as Truex draws back up on the back bumper of that Mobil 1 Ford Mustang. All the while, Justin Haley laying back off on Hamlin, and now Harvick does take control.
Outside lane doing a great job of staying tightly bunched together. Joey Logano, third in line, doing just as much help as Truex is giving to Harvick. And out in front of the field, Harvick pulls Truex 1 and 2.
34 cars right now running around.
Harvick's got the lead, but it's no walk in the park. Now he's going to face a challenge from Martin Truex. And GJ drops to the bottom. Across the nose of Hamlin, he wants the lead on 2.
Kevin Harvick drifted to the high lane to throw the block on Joey Logano. It worked for a moment. Truex changes lanes. He goes to the bottom. Harvick now out in front by himself. But Hamlin will shove Truex downstairs.
Joe Gibbs Racing teammates working well together in the bottom lane. And in fact, that move pushes Truex to the front just briefly. Harvick in the outside lane. 2 Fords lined up there. Joey Logano pushing it back up front.
Back to the tri-oval. Lap number 7.
Pretty hot and heavy at the front of the pack right now. You've got Kevin Harvick in that white number 4 leading the outside lane. He's got drivers like Joey Logano, Ryan Preece, and Kyle Larson lined up behind him. Downstairs, you've got Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Justin Haley. They are door to door, about 20 rows deep as they work into turn number 3.
Kevin Harvick, a man who is certainly would love to visit victory lane here. This is his 800th career Cup Series start, and only one other driver has actually won in their 800th start. That would be the King, Richard Petty, so we'd like to add his name to that list.
Kevin Harvick again in the outside lane. Turn number 1 again, 33 degrees of banking here at the Talladega Super Speedway that these drivers are working their way through on either end of this 2.66 mile tri-oval. Now Truex will pull ahead just a little bit after a nice push from Denny Hamlin. Here comes the outside lane though, starting to move forward again as Logano gives a bump to Harvick in turn 3.
Yeah, veterans dominating out front. Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex Jr. leading those 2 lanes there. But you got Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano right behind them, so these are definitely the veterans leading the field here at Talladega. But a couple of youngsters in there as well, different drivers.
Here comes Ryan Preece. He's the highest running car in the outside lane. He's got a run up 2 on the back straightaway.
Yeah, starting to get out front all by himself there a little bit with Kevin Harvick. The question is whether that outside lane is going to be able to keep up. And it looks like right now we got that.
Oh, look at his flap.
Larson pushing for everything he's got.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick trying to hold off both lanes of traffic right now as Kyle Larson that is, really shoving Ryan Preece hard coming off of turn number 4. Preece in that green Ford Mustang.
With Ryan Preece on his back trunk, in his back bumper, and then you got Joey Logano on the left side.
Joey Logano, of course, in that number 22, 3 Talladega victories, for Logano in that Team Penske number 22. He's got Martin Truex Jr. giving him a big shove this time into turn 3. Truex, on the other hand, his best finish here at Talladega is 5th, 3 times. He's never won here at Talladega Superspeedway. He's in position number 2 as they hit the tri-oval here in the front straightaway.
Yeah, quick shove out front there.
Truex. Then it goes Hamlin, Justin Haley, 4th in line on the bottom of the racetrack. Then you've got Ross Chastain. Remember, Chastain made a last lap pass on Eric Jones here in the spring of last year's race. He right now is trying to move forward on the bottom of the racetrack as Truex goes the lead. He jumps upstairs with Denny Hamlin as they go to 3.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin started that jump up there, and when Denny Hamlin was able to successfully make the move, Martin Truex Jr. saw the opening, figured he could get out and around Joey Logano, and that is indeed what he has done with the help of his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, Denny Hamlin.
So those two Toyota Camrys of Truex and Hamlin right now. Starts to move even further ahead as they hit turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, the side-by-side battle is for 3rd place right now, and Kevin Harvick's got his nose out front. Now he's got an entire car out there, and Joey Logano falls back into the side-by-side battle for 4th with Ryan Preece.
42 laps to go here in stage number 2. Again, just like we had in stage number 1. We do expect there to be pit stops at some point. If we stay green, we'll have the same situation that we had in stage 1, where most of the teams will try to pit together. However, right now, Steve West, they are side by side, about 16, 17 rows deep. Nobody wanting to ride in line right now is Truex.
Overtake them too fast, and that actually did work for them. So now those two cars, the 19 and the 11, hooked up coming down the Alabama Gang Superstretch, keeping the lead.
And one driver that's just quietly having a good run so far this afternoon is that 77 of Ty Dillon. He right now is running inside of the top 15. He is just counting cars 7th in line in the outside, getting that number 77, right behind Bubba Wallace. He's having a good run this afternoon, staying out of trouble, and is in good position right now here in the corners of Steve.
Started to move up in the standings for the Spire Motorsports crew.
This big pack of traffic that is now just working their way down the Alabama Gang Superstretch, 36 cars long, separated by about 2 seconds, 1st to 36. That last driver part of this big pack is Chris Buescher in the 17. He is tailing Charlie right now, bringing up the rear as the field continues to work their way off of turn number 4. We're side by side again at the front of the pack.
Just as well, really, as the two Toyotas and Joe Gibbs Racing are out front behind. So
here is Chase Elliott in the middle of this. Of course, the stage 1 winner. Well, he's middle of the pack right now on the bottom of the racetrack, right behind Christopher Bell in that red and black number 20. A couple of cars inward on the inside lane right
that's
now.
how
Just
windy
kind of
it is
seeing
there.
what's going to happen at the front of the pack as
The flaps are going off, the cars.
Hamlin and Haley can't figure out who wants to run first right now. They're side by side again off turn 4.
Yeah, right now it's the two Joe Gibbs cars. They're hooked up, and that's two Toyotas working well.
Going on a little bit further back after about the 25th position on the racetrack. Some drivers starting to get after it. You've got Eric Jones back there. You have the 16, it looks like, of A.J. Allmendinger and a couple of other drivers. Again, they are further behind where these front drivers are running in the top 2 lanes as they work their way into turn number 3. The outside lane starting to get jumbled up a little bit. Harvick, Preece, Larson, and Bubba Wallace all made contact in the middle of the corner. It allows the inside lane to shuffle forward just a bit. Again, being
sitting and just waiting for things to happen. So he started to push a little bit on that 31 of Justin Haley, and that put Justin Haley right up on the back bumper of Joey Logano. Pushed that situation, and now Joey Logano with the nose out front on the Talladega Gate Superstretch.
Denny Hamlin, the driver that started on the pole this afternoon, right now in position number 4. Second in line on the outside as they go to turn number 3. Again, continuing to push his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate in Martin Truex Jr. forward a little bit. It doesn't really seem like either line has an advantage right now. Some years in Talladega, the top of the racetrack seems to be the preferred line.
Stick outside by the wall there. We have seen a couple of attempts at 3-wide racing here, but as you can tell, the entire pack now back into 2x2 racing as we are on the Alabama Gate Superstretch. And once again, looking out front, it is the veterans on the outside that are really more connected than anyone else. Yeah, you do have Justin Haley pushing Joey Logano, but there's a nice gap back to Ross Chastain. Meantime, you've got the 19 and the 11, the Joe Gibbs Racing teammates of Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin. Kevin Harvick right behind him. He's got his own teammate, Stuart Haas Racing, and Ryan Preece right behind him.
On the racetrack again, Justin Haley in that leaf gutter protection. Number 31 Chevrolet tucked up right behind Joey Logano, the 23-year-old from Winamac, Indiana, driving for Colleague Racing. He has a pretty good track record at super speedways in the Xfinity Series. He also does have a Cup Series victory that came at Daytona back in 2019, so he's pretty good on these tracks where drafting comes into play. And right now, he is giving Joey Logano all that he can handle, just inches off of that Ford Mustang's back bumper in turn 4.
Yeah, I think he realized exactly how much Ross Chastain wasn't willing to let him sit back and not play with that Ford, so he is probably over the next 5 laps or so. We'll start to be thinking about the middle of the stage pit stops as well, and that's where these drivers are going to have to start doing their calculations. Who are we going with, when, and exactly are we going?
Yeah, you heard Steve Post, the Motor Racing Network, mention earlier in the day that pit window for some of these drivers about 36 to 40 laps. Again, it's a wide range for some of these drivers, especially once you're in the draft. Fuel mileage can fluctuate quite a bit, but we do expect a lot of these teams to kind of break up this stage, just like they did in the first stage earlier today. When they will make those pit stops and whether or not they will be under green, that is still yet to be determined, as that outside line.
Yeah, it does seem like those veterans on the outside really are able to kind of carry that a little bit better. We've been talking about it for a number of laps now. Martin Truex Jr. leads the way with Denny Hamlin, and then of course the driver we just said celebrating start number 800 here at Talladega here today, Kevin Harvick. Those drivers seem to be able to read each other's minds right now, whereas Joey Logano and Justin Haley, they have flashes, but they just can't seem to keep it up for a sustained period of time.
And this is what the fans pay to see when you come here to Talladega Super Speedway, running at around 185 miles an hour, side by side. Let's go back to the Motor Racing Network.
A quick look at the top 10, Alex, to call out a couple of drivers in particular. Truex leading that lap. over his teammate Denny Hamlin, who led the field in the green flag. We should get an update on Denny. Joey Logano third, Kevin Harvick fourth, and how about Justin Haley, who's running in position number 5?
Fantastic drive, and not surprising for Justin Haley up at the front of the field here at Talladega Super Speedway. You mentioned get an update. Why don't we do that? Why don't we sweep the pit lane and get a couple of stories at this point in the race? 88 laps into it here in the Geico 500. We'll start at the exit for the road and Steve Post.
Alex Martinelli.
Truex Jr. as well, and Truex is a very accomplished racer, but Denny is so good at this, he said, oh, wherever you want to go,